Greetings everyone, welcome back to YouTube's #1 automotive channel, where today I'm going to be putting a new clutch and rear main seal in the E46 because she has been leaking oil ever so slightly. And at my last drift event, the clutch was slipping a little bit due to the oil leak. So I'm just going to do it all while I'm in there. I've got a little eBay clutch kit that's going to go in this unit, so let's check that out. I got a stage 3 clutch kit from eBay, which is a 6-puck disc. Originally, I wanted a stage 2, which is a full face disc, but I heard mixed opinions of the discs blowing up and whatnot, so I figured I'd just ball out and get the big boy clutch for, you know, all the stock E46 power that I make. But let's check it out. Here's our 6-puck, very nice. Come on. Pretty fancy. And then the big mamma jamma single mass lightweight flywheel. Doesn't feel very light, but that's the kit. So let's start getting the transmission out, shall we? The first item on my agenda is to remove my state-of-the-art exhaust, which I'm gonna try and do so with my brand new transmission jack that I purchased off the Facebook Marketplace. Well, as you can see, the exhaust is out of the car, and now I'm gonna work on yanking the drive shaft out of this unit. Golly. Who put these things on here? Hope you're enjoying the view of my head right now. Bing bong. Yup. What a life, man. Like, what am I doing right now? What a privilege. All right, I just got all 3 those drive shaft bolts out, and I mean, I can really move the whole motor and trans around right now, so that's pretty cool. I should just zip these 2 bad mamma jammas out and then be able to rip the whole drive shaft out. I might have to pry it off of the differential back there, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Well, everyone, I got the drive shaft out of the car, but as you can see, it is in multiple pieces now, which is less than ideal. So I'm going to be rebuilding that with a kit off of eBay, or I'm just going to chuck it back together and hope for the best. But in the meantime, I am going to work on ripping the transmission out of the car and getting the new clutch in. Now that the drive shaft is out of the way, there really isn't that much to do. I'm going to rip the slave cylinder out, just 2 bolts for that guy. I've got the shifter linkage to deal with. There's just a couple clips and a nut or bolt and this bushing here. And then there's 1 plug on the side of the transmission that I already unplugged. Got it. As I was removing that bushing, I got a massive chunk of rusty metal in my eye. So I took care of that, then came out, popped that out, and then I've been trying to figure out how to remove the shifter. So I came inside of the car, pulled the shift knob and shift boot off, and then I ripped that little rubber boot out. Whole shifter should just go with that arm now, if I could figure out how to detach it from the transmission. For reference, this guy up here is that pin that I was talking about. It flips down to lock in, so I flipped it up and now it would slide out, but I can't get it to slide out, so I'm just gonna leave it be. I'm just gonna try and get all the bell housing bolts out, but I realized I haven't gotten the slave cylinder out yet, so I'm gonna do that. who's next? Oh, Jesus. All right, everyone, it's a new morning and I finally got the transmission out of the car. I was really fighting it last night. I got all the bell housing bolts out, broke one, but then it was hung up on this starter pin. I don't know what to call it, but then I used a jack handle to hammer the starter off of the bell housing, and then that freed the transmission up, and then it was getting stuck on the shifter in the transmission tunnel, but with it sagging and everything, I was finally able to like hammer this pin out of this guy right here to get that out, and then eventually just finagled her out. And then, you know, with the transmission on the transmission jack, I'm not able to wheel it out from under the car, so then I had to take the transmission off of the transmission jack to drag it out. Now it is the exciting time where I actually get to remove the clutch. Jeez. I hope you can hear this. I don't think that's normal. Okay. Yeah. As you can see, it does appear to be a little moist in here, so it's a good thing that we're doing this. Come on, baby. I don't know if the camera's still recording, but I got it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have spent entirely way too much time on this job already, and I just wasted a lot more trying to get this broken bell housing bolt out, but I lost the battle, and I'm just gonna leave it. So now to actually remove the rear main seal. You know, I watched a few videos of people doing this job, and never did I see this. Alrighty, now that this thing is finally out of the car, I'm gonna pound the rear main seal out of here using these blocks of wood, hopefully. There should be. Now it is time for me to finally install my new rear main seal into this little housing. I'm gonna do so with this 3D printed guy. I will drop a link to this guy in the description unless you just wanna buy the $90 tool. The 3D printed guy did not hold up. So I guess it's a good thing that I originally planned to use the tool and hopefully return it. I feel like the original one wasn't pushed in so far, but I used the tool properly and it's evenly pressed in. It's good enough for me, I guess. I'm gonna put this guy right back in the bag, send it back to FCP Europe. I have gone ahead and installed my new rear main seal and pilot bearing, and I am about to slap the new flywheel in. So I've got a long ratchet with the jack handle holding the front of the crank down. That way I can torque the flywheel bolts without the motor spinning. Isn't that just a pretty sight? Well, everybody, it has been about a week since I last touched the clutch job over here. That is because I was waiting on some new parts, which they came in today, and I'm trying to get this all wrapped up today. That way I can go drifting tomorrow. So I've already been tinkering with some stuff off camera, like this shifter bushing right here. Went ahead, did that. This guy as well, and the selector joint bushing on the transmission. This guy right here, it used to be super flimsy. Now it's nice and stiff. When I took this guy off, there actually wasn't a bushing in there. It had completely deteriorated. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see what the shifter feels like once I get that in. I also went ahead and replaced my pivot fork pin down in there. I replaced it with a stainless steel one instead of the stock plastic one. I went ahead, cleaned up the bell housing. I'm worried that the input shaft seal is leaking, but it's not my problem right now. I put my new throwout bearing in. I lubed the splines, put the clutch on, slid it back and forth. Got both of those lubed up. I just went ahead and wiped down the pressure plate and flywheel with some brake cleaner. And we're gonna chuck this bad boy in the car and get the transmission back in place. Let's let the games begin here, shall we?
Flat faces the rear of the vehicle.
All right, I just had to be mean to it. Clutch and pressure plate are on, bolted down. I'd say torque down, but I don't have a torque wrench that's below 20 foot-pounds, so I just used a good-sized ratchet. But I think we are ready for a transmission. Oh yeah, baby. If you can't tell, a few hours have gone by. The transmission has gone in and out a few times now, but I finally got the starter to slide onto the transmission. So, hopefully I can bolt it together now. Come on, be nice, thread.
Ooh, that
Does not feel good, but it's going in. Yeah, buddy. Woo! Yup. This one's going in nice. Oh yeah, baby. That's 2 starter bolts. All right, that's gonna be good enough because that is terrifying. All right, everyone. Last night I wrapped everything up, but I have not started the car or driven it yet, as you can see. So we're going to do that right now. I'm definitely kind of terrified. This clutch is pretty stiff, but here goes. Let's put it in gear, shall we? That's right. This car is a gift that just keeps on giving. I battled getting this clutch and transmission back in the car for way too long. The starter gave me a bunch of issues, but I persevered, got it done, made it to the track, and then the car felt the best it ever has on my first lap. And then right at the beginning of my second lap, I clutch kicked and I blew an axle. So the car's been sitting since then, but it is what it is. We'll come back stronger. I'm gonna steal the automatic transmission axles out of that car over there and throw them in this one. So you don't want to miss any of that. So make sure you do everything that you should do, and I'll see you next time. Doodles.